Hello, hello, hello. Welcome in. I have to fix my camera again. I'm Debbie with Debbie J's Crafting Corner. Where's my zoom? There we go. Just a little bit more. So anyway, and let me put my caution tape up. Hello, ladies. We have Danielle and we have Kelly's Craft. Thank you so much for popping in. And Miss Maureen. And Miss Carmen Crafts, welcome in. I think I saw some of y'all, and Miss Kelly and Chris. Hey, I think I saw some of you guys over in the live stream at this summit, and I hope that was fun. I know that yesterday I kind of got a little bit too chatty. I'm used to talking to y'all. Okay, yeah, that was my fault. Anyway, I'm so used to talking to you guys that sometimes I forget to shut up. Maureen is getting ready for a doctor's appointment. How is Miss Kelly doing? Those are good questions. I need to pop out those so I can actually pop things up on screen. We have a kitty. You have a kitty already on the screen. Yay. Okay, so I can do the things and all the things and words. Anyhow, now things should show up where I want them to. Yay. Didn't show up on there. Why did it not show up on there? There it is. Okay, it just has a delay. I have an idea. Actually, I have multiple ideas in my brain, and I need to actually watch some of the summit videos to get more ideas in my brain. Thank you, Miss Danielle. Yesterday, you guys were wanting to kind of do the snowman things, and we did one. We did the one with the better press and the background with the little snowman, and some of them not complete. This morning, I've already been playing a little bit after I made another batch of eggs. Yeah, at one point during the summit, I realized I was hearing a popping sound in the background. I was starting to smell something, and I had started... Don't do this, guys. Don't do this. I was being nice for Todd. He has boiled eggs in the fridge all the time. And then when he runs out, he leaves a Ziploc that he stores them in on the counter to remind him or me that we need to make some more. So this morning I was going to go ahead and make some. And then I forgot that I had them in there to boil. So they were at full boil. All the water, all the water was gone. And some of the shells on the eggs are burnt. And I don't know that it's going to... Ooh, Maureen, I'm knock wood. I've never had one. I don't want one, but I know it's important. But yeah. Anyway, I hope it all goes well and they don't find anything bad. Yeah, but it's kind of one of those important things. So Jana says, "Oh, that would be stinky." I don't know if she's talking about the colonoscopy or if she is talking about the eggs, but both probably would be stinky. Anyway, I've got a couple of things on my desk already. I did do something. I decided to play with one of the embossing folders, and then I thought, why don't I try out the new embossing ink that showed up yesterday? I had a package in the mail yesterday. Awesome. It's where Ranger sent me another goodie that I wasn't expecting. So I went ahead and used that pad, and it seems to work fine, but the technique I used it for was not really the one I have trouble as much. Well, it's one. But after I did it on white, I decided to ink it up, and this is what I got. So we've got gold embossing over... First off, we've got embossing from embossing folder with heat embossing over the top, and then... lots of purple ink. So this one is Crown Me over the top. And I figured it'll be good for background. And I did do a little bit of a shimmer spritz over the top. It's kind of cool. Anyway, I just got finished doing that. And right now I'm also getting ready for today because we're going to play with the stencil button. There we go. So, and I need to adjust the size. There we go. I hope the lighting is okay. During the summit, I was showing a couple of things, and the very first one is like everything was so overexposed. Like, but this is the ink that they sent me. So they sent me some. Okay, I can't show you if you do the things. Hey, Danielle. Has Danielle been naughty or nice? I think she's been naughty. Hey, sweetheart. Welcome in. How is everybody doing? So this is it. It is the embossed clear embossing ink from Ranger. So now I have a new embossing ink pad. Yay. And this is how that one turned out. So all of the gold you see is Ranger gold embossing powder. So this one was, who was this one? I don't know if my chat is caught up with me. I don't even know. Kelly is crafting along. Yay. Okay, anyway, I figured I would do the stencil, because this is going to be a humongous, it's going to be a big snowman. It's going to take the entire front of an A2 size card. And because I always am working on making sure I get everything lined up, I decided I'm going to make myself a template with just a couple pieces of tape. And Jen, of course, has been bad. So that's what we're going to start off with. And I'm just grabbing out some, I'm going to stack stuff. I'm going to try not to stack stuff enough so that it makes a humongous mess. And I think I want to use my paper pouncers for this one because I haven't done that in a bit. Okay, so grab out a couple of these. I'm going to start off with some blue, and I think I'm going to start off with my lightest blue for the background. So the pieces around here are basically the backing behind our snowman. So I'm going to start off with some High Tide, and this is not High Tide. This one is probably Clear Skies because I didn't have High Tide at the time that I used this last, I think. I'm going to show you that this is a way that you can make some really quick and easy cards, okay? You can change up the colors, whatever you want to do, but get you a paper pouncer. You can even use these little ones. The little ones are going to be good for the smaller places, but the big ones are going to be good for these bigger areas. And these that I've got here are from Picket Fence. And now, the only things in the supply list right now are the actual things from Spellbinders. It's the Spellbinders one. So, Carmen says, I'm crafting along too, working on my grandson's dinosaur Christmas tree theme. Fabulous. Kelly's Crafts, guess he's drinking plain coffee today. Who's drinking plain coffee? I missed something. Oh, Santa. She's probably talking about Santa, because Santa is saying everybody's been naughty, and we don't think that he's been drinking today. Because they basically say when Santa says kind of fibs, he's been drinking. Okay, so there's my first one done. Okay, that's all done. So I'll just take that up.
We interrupt our program to bring you this important message. I love you. Now back to our show.
I'm gonna go ahead and clean this. Hey, Jen. Just a quick spritz of alcohol to clean it up real good. And this is actually damper than I thought it was, because I was just cleaning something else up on my desk. Somebody said, ooh, Carmen, I have dinosaur Christmas papers. Yes. We don't use our papers nearly often enough, do we? All right, so the first layer I did in High Tide. Let's see, what do I want to do next? This one is the nose. I could go ahead and put that right up into my little template there. Now, on the stencils, they do have the little tick marks there to show you where the corner's going to be. So if I line this up with my little template I made, it should go right into the same spot. Now, this is probably not the best one to do next because it's only the one spot and you don't have anything else to compare it to. So I'm not going to do that one yet. How about, we'll do this one because it's going to line up with the lines we already have there. Okay, so I'm putting that one down. And this one is his eyes and hat and mouth. I think I want to use the new black from Simon Hurley. You know? Do I have a pouncing thing for black? This one is... I mean, you could do a different color. I don't really want to do a third color. I want to do black. Let me grab out the black. Because I don't use it often. But, I mean, isn't it cool that Simon has Black Widow now? What do I want to use to put the ink down with? See, the black is the one that I don't really pay as much attention to. I can use this guy. So this is that tool that I got at Creativation from Sizzix, and I've only used it for the black. So let's see how that one does. I'm going to start with the small holes because those are going to be the ones that if it's not quite enough ink, that's okay because it'll be easier to do. Instead, I did have plenty of ink. And it's kind of neat I'll be able to do kind of the swirly thing instead of just the pouncing thing. But his mouth is all there, already done. Carmen's had the paper, Kelly's had the paper for 3 years. Yeah, that happens. Thank you, Jen. Jen wants to remind y'all to smash that like button. And just because I can, I'm going to try doing a little bit of a blend here. Just coming out from the outside, having it darkest on the outside, and kind of going to gray in the center. And just add as much as you want. You can do this with any color. A little bit more, I think. Well, thank you, Jen. Jen just resubbed over on Twitch with her Amazon Prime. Thank you, honey. Okay, so we've got his little hat on and his eyes. So let's go ahead and clean that one up. And one reason why I'm saying go ahead and clean it up is that lets you know that you can do mass production of this. You can just go through it, put another one down, go through it, put another one down, go through it. It's not that difficult to do multiples of this, and it doesn't really take all that much time. And look at that, everything lines up perfect. Yay! This time I used some water to clean it up, and it cleans up just as well, but it does stay a little bit wet. So using alcohol makes it so that your stencil is nice and clean, but dry very fast without you having to do extra. And using water means it might stay a little bit damp. Okay, so next up, we're going to do the other part of his hat. So that's going to be the hat band. And I do see that there's a tiny line of white around it, and I'm not, that doesn't make me sad. That does not make me sad. I'm going to go ahead and put that back up into that corner. So I basically made myself a little jig, kind of like what we do with our Pear Blossom Press goodies. And it looks like that's about right. And so for his cheeks, I kind of want to have them pink. What pink do I have? I've got Prom Queen. I have some Prom Queen here. And I'm going to use my red pouncer because that's just kind of the way it goes. Let me grab that. I don't have a pink one. I have a red one. So let me make sure that I've got... This does not seem to have any red loose on it, which is good. So I'm pouncing it off to some other. And then when I put it down, it is a nice like pink. And you can make this as dark or as light as you want, just depending on how much ink you put down. So now he's got some pink cheeks. Isn't that fast? I mean, yeah, isn't that just so fast? I think I actually need a brush though, because this works good when you're wanting to do the solid circles, but if you're wanting to do a blend like what we did for the hat, you probably need a brush of some sort, something that you could do a little bit more blending with. So I'll grab out my red brush. Let's see what kind of ink's on it. A little bit of red, that's okay. I'm going to start off with the darker on the outsides and then kind of bring it in just like we did the other. So it's going to have a little lighter in the center. And I'm guessing at where the line is. I can see a little bit of the lighter color through the stencil, so I can kind of see where it's lighter at. So I just basically I put the ink down on the outside edges and then I swipe it across to give a little bit of a lighter color in the center. So I think that looks good. Oh, look at that. Perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. So we're going to go ahead and clean this one up too. And And how are you guys enjoying the summit so far? I mean, the next live for this summit is coming up at 1 o'clock. I do have us set to redirect, so it just depends on where we are at as to whether or not we're going to be making it over there. Hey, Bethany. Bethany is still working all 3 jobs right now, but here for inspiration. I also need to I also need to convince myself I don't need the whole kit and caboodle. What was the caboodle bonus? I don't remember. Do I have it? I know that the next couple of months I have it, but I don't remember everything that's in here. So of course I have to look it up and see. And let's see if my voice to text thing decides to work. Oh, I don't need that. It's in my bookmarks. Durr. Spellbinders, paper arts. So who has been naughty? Okay, so let me take a look at that. So the caboodle. What does the caboodle have? I always want to see. Oh, I did. I don't think I got that one. The Magic for You die set. That one. Oh, that is adorable. I didn't get that one. It's a reindeer on top of a reindeer on top of a Starlight Mint. It is so cute. That is friggin' adorable. I mean, I got a bunch of the other stuff. I haven't even looked at any of the inspiration pictures till just now. I don't need to look at that. I don't need to look at that. There's no reason for me to look at that. Let's see if I can get that back to where I had it. There we go. Okay. I know, Lixie. I'm not... You guys can look it up. I don't need to look at that. It is super cute, though, and I need to have it not on my screen because, yeah, the only way to get the caboodle is to buy the caboodle bundle. I already have most of the things, so I would have to spend another $130 for the entire bundle when I've already got most of the things. So, yeah. Sometimes they send us the caboodle bonus. Sometimes they don't. I think they have to go through... I think they have to pick and choose because there are a lot of influencers for Spellbinders. Okay, so we've got those... That's 3. We're already like halfway done. There's two more stencils. So I'm going to go ahead and put this one back up in that little jig spot there. I'm just making this easier for me because I don't know why. That's the reason I got a little bit of white showing. You guys can't see that. Let me zoom in a little bit. So when I put my stencil down, my black stencil, I didn't line it up with the paper. I almost did, but it was off by just a smidge because you can see the little bit of ink. They've got a little white line or blue line there between the edge of the paper, edge of the tape and the ink. So because of that, it's off by just a smidge. So this is something I should probably make myself a jig. I could do that. I think I'm going to do that. I'm not going to do it right now, but I am going to do that. So I think what I'm going to do now to fill in the extras, this is kind of a texture part. I could go with still the same ink, which is the Prom Queen, but I think instead, I think I'm going to go with some Bee Sting. So that's going to add a little bit of a darker shade of pink-ish in those areas. We're going to do the same thing that we just did with... Oh, and this is juicy. We're going to do the same thing that we just did with the Prom Queen. I'm going to add a little color to the outside edges and then swipe it across. I do want to make sure I've got more on the outside. And this is juicy enough. It's going to be harder to do that. Okay. And now, I think I want to put brown for his eyebrows and for the lines on the thing, on the carrot. So let me find my brown. Here's the brown. And I'm trying to make sure that I keep everything cleaned up because, yeah, I can make a mess. We're going to use some Weeping Willow.
We interrupt our program to bring you this important message. I love you.
Thank
Now
Thank
back to our show.
you. Thank you, Danielle. Okay, so we've got our weeping willow right here. I'm gonna bring I'm not gonna use the brush. I'm gonna use the little pouncer again. So if you ask me which is my favorite way to do this, to add color through a stencil, I'd say all of the above. But use what you have. If you only have one set of brushes for that specific ink, use it. You can always invest in some of the things later on as you progress and as you decide that you like more stuff. Okay, I am going to come back in though with the red again for his. No, we're going to do it like we did the other. We're going to do the red with the brush and try to make it a little bit lighter in the center. Again with my bee sting. If you want to know what Chris is talking about, I sent him a card. He hit the picture on Discord. Fabulous! We get to see it. Yay! I like it when you guys do that. I haven't told you that, have I? I've never told you that I like seeing your pictures of all your projects. So I've got more ink on the outside, and then I'm just popping it through. This one I'm going to make it a little bit darker. This is such an easy blend. Oh my goodness. There we go. See, he's coming together. Yay! Who wouldn't go up on the housetop? Click, click, click. Okay, all we have left is his nose. All we have left is his nose. So we're going to pop that into my little jig. Yeah, I'm going to make myself a plastic jig. I don't know why I didn't think of that before. And I'm also double checking to make sure that it lines up on the stencil itself, because we've got that little part that is pulled out from his cheek. And for this one, we're going to use some orange. So let's get out our guppy. And I'm going to use this little pouncer thing. Don't know why there's so much black on it. Anyway, let's make sure it's coloring right. That's good. Okay, here we go. I'm actually going to do the darkest, I think, on the top, just because I can, and let it have a little bit of lighter on the bottom. And to do that, I'm just doing extra layers of the ink. Okay. That looks pretty good. And now our little snowman is done. How easy and fast was that? So cool. Proud Mama moment. Danny was nominated as the leader of the pack for September by her teachers for being respectful, all in her first month of the first grade. Wow, that is awesome. Kelly says, why can't all layering things being that simple? Well, I think what I'm going to do, it's actually not going to be that difficult to do. I probably already have something in my stash for this, so I don't actually have to make anything. But I think I am going to also make it. How about using something like this that is a right angle and just line it up with the first stencil, and then you can just pop everything in so it goes up against this. This is actually a creative corner for my Misty. So it's for the same kind of thing inside the Misty to make sure your paper is lined up. But yeah, just get something that's going to make that right angle. I'm thinking I could probably even use my T-squares because they're going to be at a right angle, and just make sure that when you put your stencils in, you line them up. I don't know why I didn't think of that before. Do we need to try this again? Do we need to do a second one just to make sure that what I'm saying is going to work? Because I'm thinking that may be another way to use our fabulous T-squares that we keep on our desk anyway. Right? What do y'all think? These hat details kind of look like 3D lettering. Yeah. It looks like a bunch of A's is what it looks like. But I think that's kind of cool. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to pull out my T-square. We're going to pull out the A7 since it's the biggest. I'm going to do another one. And we're going to do it basically the same way, but I'm going to use my T-square to act as my jig. Let's take the tape off. Also means that I won't have to use and throw away tape every time. And this is going to clean up fairly easy. And it does stick to the plastic mat. All right. Let me grab another piece of cardstock here. And put down my first stencil. We'll start with that one that is our snowman again. And I'm basically just lining up the corner there with the edge because that's going to be the part that is basically the corner of my card, right? Because this is an A2 size thing. And then I'm just gonna, this is a little bit hard to position because it does try to stick to the T-square. So now I just got my T-square down. And my T-square, is it correct? Looks like it's correct. Just to double check, I'm going to slide that in right up against my T-square, right up in that corner. Looks like it may have been off by a little bit, but I'm going to use this as my template. Okay, I'm going to use that as my template. And we did light blue for the background the first time for behind our snowman. Why don't we go with some midnight snack this time? So we're going to go darker. Doing the same thing all over again. Do I have a blue one? Let me use a blue one. I'm going to, instead of using my picket fence one this time, I'm just going to use this little one I got off Amazon. It's another paper pouncer. It's just one that's on the end of a stick. And instead of wasting all of that ink, let me see if I can pick up some of it and move it over to the next bit. There we go. And I would say that this part is probably the hardest part on here with doing it with this jig is the fact that it sticks so easy. It's like everything's trying to stick to the mat because it is a sticky mat. And that makes it so that things don't want to, it's harder to reposition. Let's put it that way. Okay, let's go ahead and take this one up and clean it off. And then we have that is perfect. I have a love-hate relationship with T-squares or levels because stamps stick to them. Yes, it's great that stamps stick to them, but sometimes you don't want the stamps to stick to them, and then it's harder to get them off. I've noticed that too. It's like, okay, I've used a T-square also to line up a sentiment, and when I do that, it's like after it's already, okay, you saw when I did the fall cards. So I had some chipboard stickers that I lined up on there, but then I had trouble getting them off of the T-square to stay onto my card. It's like, come on, you know? Okay, first one's done. Next up, we're going to go with, why not? We're going to go with this guy's face. So I'm just popping it right up against the, this is staying in place. It's not moving anywhere. So I'm just popping this up against the edge and lining it up against the edge there. And looks like I've got this. How do I have that wrong? Oh, I had it backwards. You also have to make sure that they're turned the right way. There we go. So I was thinking, wait a minute, nothing was lined up right. So we're going to do this one. What color hat do we want to do? Do we want to do the black hat again, or do we want to do a different color hat? It is Christmas. We could give him a green hat. I'm thinking maybe a green hat with a red band or a red hat with a green band. What do you guys think? Danielle says green. We're going to go with green. So I've got out my later gator. And I'm going to go with my green Simon Hurley brush. And just adding the darkest part on the outside. Let me move some of this out of the way so I have space to work, right? So the dark green is darkest part is going to go on the outside, and then I'm going to bring it into the center again, just like we did before, and that's going to make it a lighter shade in the center. And to darken up any parts of it, you just keep adding more ink to the top. And I'm wondering, do I need to re-ink my later gator? I've already re-inked very much so the red. I've already done that with the bee sting because I use it a lot. But one of my other favorite ones to use is, of course, the later gator. Red and green, I don't know what it is. I think it's just the combination I use on a lot of things. The green works great for anything that is a plant. And the red just gives that extra pop that I love, you know? I think I do need to re-ink this one. Let's try for a little bit more on the outside edges. I'm cheating. I'm going to see if I can get some more ink out of this one, which also you can tell it's got a little bit of white on the edges, and I think it probably needs a little bit more re-inking as well. Okay, it looks like I am getting a bit more of that green on there. Awesome. Now, one thing I am noticing as I'm doing this, because I'm using the jig and it's up in that right-hand corner, up in the left-hand corner there, if I try to do anything off the edge, it's getting in the way of the brush. So just as a thing, if you want to use a jig like that as a guide to help you line everything up, it could possibly get in the way of you doing the stenciling. There we go. So that looks good. I'm going to put, that's the Stellar, that's the later gator Simon Hurley ink. We put that away. So next we're going to do the eyes and mouth, and we're going to do those in the black. This was blue. Where did I put? I know what I used for the black. I used the Simon Hurley brush for the black. Didn't I? No, I used this for the black. I already forgot what I used. Where did I put the black? The black was on my desk. Yeah, it is what it is. I do that all the time. So we're going to go ahead and do his little eyes and his mouth, and this is quick and easy. Alrighty. And yes, this is the first time I'm trying it, doing it like this. This is the first time I'm trying this, what I thought of as a technique to line up my stencils easier. And look, that is actually perfect. And I'll work with any stencil, and all you need is your T-square. And you don't have to put it in that corner. You can put it in a different corner. I just put it in that one. I probably should have put it down here because I'm not going to do as much coloring down here, but it still is turning out, and I don't have that gap that I did the last time. So I think this is going to work better because you can easily put your stencil on top of the paper because there's not really a barrier, right? With the T-square, there's a barrier there, so it's easier to line it up perfectly every single time, just like the corners in your Misty. Okay, so we got that one. Next up, we'll do this one. Do the same thing, popping it up, just putting it right up against. It's trying to catch on my sticky mat. Put it right up against the edge there. Put it right there, and you can see I've got it backwards. That's what I did. I'm making this guy is going to be facing the opposite direction. And you do that by just turning over your stencils. That's why I'm getting myself mixed up. So I'm putting that one down, pressing it into my sticky mat so it's going to hold it in place. And we're going to come back in with some of the pinks and reds. I'm just going to use what's already on here, which isn't enough to do anything with. Do we want to do the pink or do we want to do red cheeks this time? Because this time we used the Prom Queen for the cheeks. Do we want to do that again? I think so. Mostly because I like that red on top. Danielle says red. Okay, we're going to go with bee sting then. We're just going to do a second layer of the bee sting for those marks on the front. Oh, these are definitely some red ones. Okay, now I'm going to bring in my brush. Now that I got all that stuff. You saw how fast that went down, right? That is one of the things I love about my paper pouncers, and I mean, I didn't use one for so long, but it puts color down so fast. Where's my red brush? Purple brush, red brush. Hi, Lisa Acker. Welcome in, honey. I do need to bring in some more red though, because you see, because this is so saturated on the two ends, there's not enough coming up in the center there. So I need to do a little bit extra to blend that bit out. See that? So his hat is going to be kind of red. Okay, that is starting to look better. I am blending out those big circle marks. Let's pick up some more of that ink and see if we can add that up here. Well, I think that looks pretty good. It's not as blended in as I'd like, but that's okay. And that's just because I forgot and used that. I used the pouncer for that part instead of the brush. So now when we lift it up, everything is lined up perfect. So this one was off by just a smidge because I accidentally overlapped some of the tape that I put down. This one, because we're using our T-square, and nothing's overlapping anything, so it's perfect. And this rag is going to be kind of inky, so I'm going to definitely have to toss that into the wash by itself or let it soak or something. Alrighty, so we got the first 3 stencils down. We have 2 more to go. So we have this one that is going to be the hat, the eyebrows, bit on his nose, and his scarf. So again, I'm putting it right up in that corner, right up against the T-square. And this time going over it with just... going straight with the pouncer is going to be perfect for the reds, I think. Well, for this part of the red. I am going to use my brush down here. So we're going to see if I put down enough in those spots or not. I'm going to peek. Sneak peeks are good. We do have a little texture there. Let me add a little bit more. Using another color probably would be better, but I think it's going to be cool anyway. Alrighty, there we go. And then we're going to do, his scarf is also in red, so we're leaving out the bee sting. Let me grab my brush, load up some ink on there. And I'm going to come in from the outside and come in from the outside. Make sure to load it up on the outer edges and then just kind of do a sweep back and forth. It brings back a lighter shade. Isn't that cool? And there it is. That's done. I mean, yeah. This month's collection so far has been things that are really easy to do really fast mass production. I mean, the Better Press yesterday. Oh, I forgot to do his eyebrows. Let's put that back in place. And it's kind of like with the Misty. It goes right back where it's supposed to go. Yay. Let's bring out, here's my Weeping Willow. Oh, the only reason I'm doing the swiping thing with this is because I'm trying to pick up that extra. I don't want to waste any of that lovely ink, right? Alrighty, that one's done. Now I can clean up this stencil, and all we have left is his carrot nose. Noise. What noise? Do you not have noise, or do you want noise? Or is it too much noise? Danielle! I'm not being noisy, am I? What are you talking about noise? I think she may have meant nose, but she put in chat noise. All right, now we have the nose. It's going to go this way, back up in that corner, back up in our jig, and double checking to make sure it lines up perfect over here, and it does. So this is awesome. Now we just need some orange. Yeah, spelled wrong. Sorry, not sorry. Okay, we're going to come in with the orange again. So we've got some guppy going on here. It does look like it's a little bit off this time, but I don't care. I think it looks fabulous. And you know what kind of annoys me now? This is gonna be bad. Sometimes when I'm in like the drugstore or something, I'll look at the cards to see what they are selling for, like $7, $8, $9. And pretty much everything is printed on a lighter weight, not my heavyweight cardstock, but a lighter weight, glossy kind of paper. Cardstock kind of paper. So yeah, they do that, and then inevitably something is printed crooked. It doesn't match up like it's supposed to, has foam in the wrong space if it has foam, you know, all the things. And they're charging like $10 or more for a card, unless you go to the Dollar Tree, and then it's like just they're very, very generic at the Dollar Tree. Okay, so we now have two cards basically done. So cool. 2 different looks. 2 cards already done. And it's only $12.41. And these basically only need to be put onto a card base. You don't even have to put foam on them. You don't have to put any kind of background on them. These are all done. Okay, all we need. We could probably use a sentiment. I'll see what sentiments I've got that I want to use. I'm going to go ahead and do a couple of card bases. So we're going to have 2 cards, and then we're going to take a look at the Stamp and Die of the Month and see what sentiments would go good with our little snowman here. So taking out my scoreboard. Yeah, yesterday's live stream with the summit yesterday afternoon was talking about favorite crafty tools, and every tool has a purpose in my toolbox. Oh, here's another thing. You could do this directly onto the card base, okay? So you don't have to put anything up there. You can do it like this if you want to give it a little bit more dimension, and that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to add foam behind him, and it is going to give him a little bit more dimension because I like that. But doesn't mean you have to. This is going to be a good one as a generic kind of, but handmade Christmas card that you can send out to basically all your friends and family. You could do one batch, ton of cards, knock it all out. You could also, another idea that I thought of, is you could also have it kind of off to the side, so part of it cut off and have something else going on here. I'm going to go very generic for, I think, this first one. Which one of these do we want to have full front on the card? So I think I may do the trimming thing on the other one. The green and red one. Danielle wants this one to be full front. And that's kind of what I was leaning towards because, yeah, I mean, I like that one, but I really like the Christmas colors. I do. One question that people asked quite a bit yesterday and today was, you know, how do you figure out your color combinations? It's like, I really do a lot of times just lean into traditional colors. I don't know why. There are some colors that I just like that I know go together and I use them all the friggin' time. There are some that I don't use much at all because they don't call to me quite as much. And since this one's going to go edge to edge, I'm just going ahead and putting all my foam down right onto the card base. We'll add it on, and then if my card base or the panel is off by a little bit on the open end, I'm going to trim it down so that everything matches. Because, you know, a lot of times my card bases are not exactly A2 size, and sometimes when I cut my panels, I don't cut them exactly. Sometimes they're off by a smidge, and that's okay. Kelly finished her card too. Yay! Fabulous, honey. All right, so we're going to open this up, making sure it's going the right way. I'm going to line it up with the edge of my desk and the edge of the bottom. Oop, I've got him upside down. I got him upside down. Let's not do that. Let's not do that. Oh no, oh no. I didn't press it in place, so we're good. I had it right. I had everything perfect except he was going to be upside down. Okay. Ripped it a little bit. That's all right. Let's see if I can flatten him back out. So since this is the open side, it needs to go this way, not this way. This would make him upside down. Well, it could have been funny. We could have had an upside down snowman card. That would have been funny. Like I said, I did rip a little bit of the card. So I'm going to go ahead and peel those little slivers of paper off of there. We're going to try it again. Hey, TR, are these recycled card prints? No, these are stencils. We did this with a stencil, honey. This is a new stencil, and I miss you. Kelly's Craft, my ride is called Ruby. So just putting that up against the edge, but you could do this one with recycled card prints or with pattern paper. So there we go. I am going to trim it just a touch on the two sides. It's been a while, TR. We love you, hun. See, is the top is not quite right either. Hey, Miss Mary Jo, how are you doing, honey? So just trimming just a touch off the top, and I'm probably going to need my scissors also. I think that's what I'm going to need. Where are my long handles? Here we go. Oh, I came in late, but I do pop in. I just don't make noise often, so I'm here, and I miss you too. And hello, everyone. So TR has been, she's the one that actually introduced me to Craft Roulette. Yeah. So I miss her. She's been live with us, and I don't know what she's been doing because I don't hear from her. So I'm going to trim all of the sides so that they match the edges here. Got the top and stuff. It looks like that's about even. No, it's off, actually off by just a touch. This is what I'm going to do. If I do it flat, I'm going to be able to cut off that extra right there, and it's going to be doing. I always find that it's harder for me to cut with my trimmer if I try to do it with the paper folded because it's too many layers. It just doesn't like it. Okay, that looks pretty good. And that's pretty good. And then that's pretty good. And as long as the fold's straight, everything should be mostly lined up. It does say that the back is a little bit bigger than the front, so I'm going to just trim off that one, but it's only going to be the one layer, so it shouldn't be a problem cutting. And then we have that one that's perfect. Because I don't really want to cover anything in the front, if I do any kind of a sentiment, it's going to be on the inside. All right, so for this one, could use me. Kind of like that look. We could trim him down a little bit and have him just with the background being our... Or I could do a 5x7. I don't do a 5x7. I think that's what I'm going to do. Okay, I haven't. I did a fabulous job on the stencil thing because I thought it was a professional print. Well, that's not really saying much because I was just saying that professional prints are usually wrong when I look at the cards in the store. There's usually something wrong with them. Alrighty, I'm going to do... Alright, let's do this. What do you think? Do we want to do red background with brickwork and then our snowman on the front, or is that too much red when we've got mostly pink in here? I might need to use a pink panel. Do I have any pink? I don't know if I've got any full sheets of pink cardstock up here. Ooh, I actually do. Isn't that nice? Let me grab this folder because there's a few different colors. One of the things that's on my to-do list is to reorganize and put everything in RGB order for all of my my colored cardstock. So the stuff that's on the inside of the stuff that's up here and the stuff that's in the back, which I don't really have a lot of colored cardstock in the back. Oh, that's going to be perfect. That's going to be perfect. So that's the color we're going to do. I could just do the card base out of that. A 5x7 card base out of it. Trim this down just a little bit and do partial partial. Can I do partial embossing? I can't do partial embossing with this big of a piece. Yeah, because the embossing folder is so huge, it's not going to be able to go through. It's not going to work. So we're going to do this. It's going to work. Let me go ahead and trim that down into a half. Actually, yep, I'm going to go to 5.5. We're going to go ahead and emboss half of one of these. The other half can turn into a pink card base, probably for Valentine's Day, which is coming up soon. And let me grab out that other embossing folder. By the way, hello, Mary. Are you in your class, hon? Alrighty. So this one is a 3D embossing folder. So with a 3D embossing folder, I'm not going to put it all the way up at the end because it doesn't really like going that way. You can't put it all the way up because it's not going to want to go through the machine, but you can line it up with the end of the design and that's fine. We're also not going to use the platform top because it's a 3D embossing folder. And then we're going to grab our adapter plate D that I used this morning, and there it is. Okay. I was thinking, where'd it go? I just used it this morning. And then we're going to run the whole thing through. Okay, I did... is that Mary? No, that's not Mary from Craft Roulette. That is Mary's Crafty Creations. And she says that I am her spirit animal. But she is a nurse up in, or a nurse manager, something like that, up at a hospital in in Canada. Oh, I love this. I love this folder. I really do. I mean, I wish that Mary Gunn would say I was her spirit animal, but no, she's not. But you were the person that introduced me to the whole thing with Mary Gunn Fun. Okay. So now I need to trim this down to approximately 5. Yeah, my animal. Yeah, my spirit animal. No, she says that I'm her spirit animal. That's the words. Okay, so since my trimmer does not cut down to 7, it doesn't have the measurements. I do need to trim this down to about 7. I'm going to use a pencil. I'm going to use that so that it tells me what I need to do. And I think I actually want to cut off a little bit of the other end too. So I'm going to cut this one right about here. And that's kind of nice. It's got a groove already there. So I'm going to cut that one. And then I'm going to cut down the other side. Yeah, Mary says Debbie is my spirit animal. I love you, Mary. So Mary is also the only mod I have on the channel that has access to a special deck of buttons. She has the power of the buttons. Okay, so since I've got that one down to 7, and of course I'm going to trim it down to more than that, or to less than that, or words. Thank you, Chris. Ronan is causing problems because now Chris is calling me Debbers. Ronan is the one who started calling me Debbers. But I love my Ronan. Okay, I'm going to use this side to just do it. What's this? Hey, Nerdy! So, for you guys who don't know who Ronan is, mainly TR, she probably doesn't know who Nerdy is, who Ronan is. Nerdy is Ronan's other... Is it there? Yes, it's there. It's like I couldn't see it because it's in between. It's in between a couple of things. It's in the grout. I'm gonna try it one more time. I have to make sure I'm measuring right because you know what? You can't uncut something. If you cut it too short or too small, it's not gonna work anymore. So I just want it to be right about here. There. Okay. There we go. So we're making a snowman today. Nerdy, we're making snowman cards. So this is a little less than 7. Okay. Sometimes I have to measure more than twice, Elaine. So I'm going to do this one now it's going to be down to, let's see, we're doing a 5 by 7. So we're going to do this one down to 4 3/4. So I'm going to cut one side so it's down to 5. And then I'm going to cut the other side down so it's going to be 4 3/4. And now I need a 5 by 7 card base. which means I need another piece of cardstock. And instead of struggling to do it with this machine or this one, or using my my other cutting, my other one. Where's my heavyweight? Heavyweight. I'm gonna actually get up and go use my big guillotine. I'll be right back.
We interrupt our program to bring you this important message. I love you.
Have to
Now,
wait till
back to
this
our
is
show.
over before I can do the BRB. So thank you so much, Jen. So I just cut my 8.5 and 11 down to 10 by 7. Yes, 10 by 7, so that I can use my scoreboard that is hiding. There it is. It was hiding from me. I can use my scoreboard to score that at 5. So it's going to make a 5 by 7 card base. Now, I'll be honest, the reason I don't do this that much is because you've got that little bit of scrap that you just cut off, and I already have a lot of white scraps. That is, to be honest, that is the main reason that I started making A2 size cards. Because A2 size cards, you cut one piece of cardstock, you've got 2 card bases, and you don't waste anything. For doing a 5 by 7, you cut a card base, you cut it down, you get 1 card base, and you have scraps. So this is going to go right in the middle there, like I love it. And then we're going to trim this guy, and we're going to put him down in the middle of there too. So let's first go ahead and glue this sucker down. Six, 5, 4. What? Oh, you're going now to the summit. Yeah, the summit is over. Actually, at the end of our live stream. Let me go ahead and do this, guys. I know you guys want the giveaway, so I'm going to go ahead and start the giveaway thing right now. Let me do the reset real quick, because I am going to give one of these away, and then I can finish this off camera. And we will be giving away one of the cards today. So let's go ahead and start the giveaway. So go ahead and type into the chat !join if you want one of the cards, and you can let me know if it's going to be the 5 by 7 Snowman card or is it going to be the A2 Snowman card. The A2 one is the one that we have that's in pretty reds and greens, full front, and then this one is going to be bigger, and it's going to be that pink and teal. Because yeah, that color of Simon Hurley ink, the High Tide, is basically a light teal. I love that light teal. So pretty. Okay. And we've got that brickwork in the background. I love it. Let me go ahead and trim this down. I'm going to pop this piece up on some foam. So we got 9 entries in. And let's see. 5 by 7. This is 5.5. By 4 1/4. I do need to trim a tiny bit off of the edge. So let's do 4 1/8. So we're gonna go 4 inches. And now I'm gonna eyeball and kind of calculate in my head how much I need to trim off. So we need this one. If it's gonna be here, that's about 1 inch that's cut off. So this is actually right about the right size. I'm going to say that this is good enough, so we're going to go ahead and pop it up. I just trimmed a tiny bit off of the 2 edges. We're going to pop this up in the center. It is going to have more white space at the top and more white space at the bottom. TR, it's !join, honey. Be sure to join. You gave me your name. Yeah, I think that's fun. And then we will be going over to the summit next. At first I wasn't going to join because I got here late, but why not? Absolutely, hun. There are people that I think that show up at the end or when they think the end is going to be, and sometimes they miss stuff, because they think because they know I'm going to give away the card. But there's other folks that don't say anything at all during the entire live because until the end. So make sure you type in !join to get in on the giveaway. We have 17 people. Wow, that jumped. Last time I glanced up, it was at 9. Jen is telling you to make sure that you, in order to end, type in !join. And I want to make sure that TR is in there, and then we will go ahead and pull that, and then you're going to be redirected. When I end the stream, you're going to be redirected. Everybody on YouTube is going to be redirected straight over into the summit over there. And if you type in DJCC Raid this time, she may know what it is. Last time she didn't. It was so funny. She's like, what is that? She thought it was somebody spamming this chat. I thought it was so funny. Okay, I want to make sure that I get this in straight. And I'm going to be eyeballing it because I'm trying to hurry. So I'm adding glue because I could use my T-square. Okay, I don't know if TR is in there or not, but we're going to go ahead and draw. That is off. Okay, that is closer. All right, that is closer. So we have our 2 cards. Let's go ahead and draw so we can get over to the summit. Yes. Winner is Jennifer LM98. Congratulations, honey. And here is the form link. It's also in the top of the description on YouTube. So what we're going to do, my credits does not work. We know that. So we're going to go ahead and end the stream, and we're going to be redirected on the YouTube side straight over into the Card Making with SVG's Summit live stream. They're doing live streams to see different people, and I think the one that's coming up is right now about having to do with organization. And Brandy Mahon's going to be one of the folks in there. I don't remember all the other people. Aaron Reed, I think. But it's going to be a panel, and you can ask them all of your crafty organization questions. So that's going to be fun. On Twitch side, after I end the YouTube side, I'm going to actually remember to end the stream this time. I'm going to see about finding someone over there to raid to, but you guys are also more than welcome to join us over on that other live. Let me grab a link for the Card Making with SVGs, and then I'm going to pop that into the Twitch live stream so you guys can join us over there as well, especially if I don't find someone to raid off to. So we're going to go ahead and end now. I love you guys. I will see you guys in just a couple of minutes, and I'll be in the chatty chat with y'all while I'm cleaning up and doing different things, but I will see you guys over there in just a minute. So I will see you later. Bye, guys.